All right, this Thursday night at Tallaght Stadium is the Republic of Ireland women's team against Greece in a Euro 2021 qualifier. Then next Wednesday, it's away to Montenegro. 2 wins and a draw from the group so far in Group I, and I'm joined by one of the Irish squad members, Rianna Jarrett. Rianna, you joined Brighton recently, and it's fair to say your debut went quite well last Tuesday in the FA Cup against Crystal Palace. A brace of goals in your debut, that must have been a delightful way to start your career with Brighton.
Yeah, obviously couldn't have asked for a better start, to be honest. Was firstly delighted to get the call to start the game. It was my first game since the cup final with Wexford Youths in November, so I was really looking forward to it. And obviously as a striker you go into every game, you back yourself to score, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. And thankfully I think it was within the first 15-20 minutes that we went 1-0 up. And for me personally, obviously it was delighted to get that goal, but I actually don't score too many goals from outside the box. Somehow managed to score one from outside the box for my first goal, so was delighted with that. But in terms of Tuesday, the important thing for us was obviously that we got that win. Crystal Palace are a division below us, but the beauty of the cup is whoever turns up on the day can go and win it. And so we were under, like, we knew that going into the game. We knew that they were going to give us a battle, and the important thing was, yes, that we performed well, but that we managed to win the game, and thankfully we've done that, and we're in the quarter final now, and we've a home draw.
How important is that? I know you made the move, as you said, from Wexford over to Brighton. For players in the women's game like yourself, how important is that, getting that cross-channel and playing abroad and getting game time over in the Women's Super League? I mean, is that, in your mind, key to your international ambitions, for example?
Yeah, obviously. For me personally, I wanted to try my arm at that higher level, and actually going into any full-time environment is going to be higher than playing at an amateur level here in Ireland. And thankfully I got that move. But for me, I knew going over there straight away, especially going over in the middle of the season, that I wasn't going to be guaranteed game time. I knew I was going to have to work hard, and yes, I've played in the cup, but nothing is given when I go back after the international break. There's still a lot of hard work to be done. I still have to prove myself in terms of in training every day, and hopefully soon enough I can start to get a few minutes here in the league and can build from there. But ultimately, as a player, no matter whether you're here in Ireland or you are abroad, the important thing is that you are playing, because you can train all you want, you can run all you want, but the only way to get match fit is by playing games, and the only way to test yourself is by putting yourself in a game time situation. Obviously it's not going to happen overnight, but for me, obviously it is important that I am in an environment where I stand a realistic chance of playing games. Obviously I have to prove myself first, and as I said, there's still a lot to be done in terms of that, but I do feel that once I am settled and once I start proving myself in training, that hopefully I can start building on game time then as well.
I'd read that you'd been obviously composing video footage of yourself. That's an important way to get yourself out there and promote yourself to clubs in England. And obviously Hope Powell is in charge with Brighton, who's clearly a very recognisable name in the English women's game, having managed the national team over there. But how did that process go about, of putting yourself out there and getting the call from Brighton and from Hope?
So for me, it kind of started last August. We went to LA to play the US women's team on the back of their victory tour after winning the World Cup, and I remember having a conversation with Louise Quinn. For me, obviously I was back playing 2 years at that point. I was feeling good, I was getting fitter, I was getting stronger, and I was like, now was probably a realistic time to see if I can create any opportunities for me to go and play abroad. So I spoke with Louise, and obviously she had made the transition from playing in the Women's National League to moving abroad, so I was just kind of asking her questions onto like how she went about it, and from there she actually put me in touch with her agent, so Sisu Sports Management, and from there I was already in the process of putting together a highlight video. So Avenir Sports in Galway, they actually put it together for me, and it was just kind of clips of me playing with both Ireland and with Wexford, and from there my agents, then they put together kind of a CV, and then they done all the groundwork in terms of talking to clubs and seeing if we could set up some opportunities, and Brighton was one of those opportunities. So from there they invited me over on trial. I was supposed to go in November once the season finished, but I had a little knock on my knee, so I ended up missing the last Greece game. So we postponed it till early January. So I went on trial then, and thankfully Brighton decided that yes, they'd take a chance on me and sign me kind of mid-season. Obviously the step up from amateur and Women's National League to full-time in the Women's Super League is massive, so it was going to take me a bit of time to kind of get used to, one, going into a full-time environment, but also to the level that they're actually playing at is significantly higher as well. But the fact that they signed me mid-season knowing that was still good, and obviously I was delighted to get the opportunity, and obviously to play under Hope, as you said. Like, her experience from a player but also as a manager is second to none, and she's well equipped in terms of the women's game.
You mentioned the tweak on your knee there, and I know you've been someone who's been relatively unlucky with injuries. I think it was 3 cruciates before you turned 21, which is very unlucky, in fact. I know Dan Horan, the fitness coach, has kind of helped you in that regard, and he was down in IT Carlo at the same time as yourself. So, I mean, how crucial was that? I know Dan would have worked with Robbie Keane, I think, when he was going through a few different injuries with the Irish setup, but how did you find coming back from injuries like that? Obviously the cruciate is a nasty injury, and to get it 3 times is remarkably unlucky.
Obviously any injury is difficult as a player, because ultimately all you want to do is train, all you want to do is play, and I suppose when that's taken away from you kind of have to reassess and look at different things. Obviously the 3 cruciate injuries meant I spent a long spell on the sidelines rather than being able to play and train, and there was kind of a spell throughout the last one that I did kind of struggle, like finding the motivation to get going, and I was put in contact with Dan. He was a lecturer in IT Carlo at the time, and I was a student there, so it worked. It meant that I had contact hours with him. I was able to meet him a couple of times a week, and we were able to go through things, and that really helped. So he took the majority of my rehab from the last ACL, and kind of seen me return to play, and then from there on in, then I was kind of back with my club physio at Wexford Youths at the time. So it was fantastic. Obviously he has vast experience. Obviously he's involved with the Irish senior men's team. So in terms of background, he knows exactly what he was talking about, and I could see that from working with him, and we formed a bit of a relationship, and it was kind of enjoyable going through it, even though it was hard work and it was difficult. It was still a lonely process, but it was thoroughly enjoyable once I was working with Dan then as well.
On this Irish setup then, I know there's a lot of competition for places, probably more so even than a couple of years ago, but Kyra Carusa, for example, is another call-up for a bit of competition for yourself, I guess, up front. So how healthy is that to have players competing all over the pitch to get into Vera Pauw's starting 11?
I think as a squad it's needed. Competition for places means that everybody has to prove themselves, and everybody knows that yes, you can get called into a squad, but that nothing is given, and you know that even when you come into camp, if you're playing well, if you're performing well, and you've seen that from previous selections, that if you're performing well, if you're playing well, then Vera will put her trust in you and put you into that starting 11, and nothing changes this camp. There's competition for places all over the pitch, which is exactly what we need. I think it keeps everybody on their toes, but ultimately it should in turn then also get the best out of everybody, because you need to put your best foot forward if you want to be in contention. And I think for a squad that has aspirations of qualifying for our first major tournament, we need that. A squad is so much more than just 11 players. Even the 23 the 20 plus that are in this time around, there's still players that are missing through injuries and whatnot that can still come back in at different stages. So everyone's looking over their shoulder, but everyone has that same focus. Everyone is gearing towards the same thing ultimately, and that is on a match day we want to get 3 points. We want to put our best foot forward, and we want to qualify for the Euro 21, which is in England, and everybody is kind of looking the same way. And naturally, if there is competition for places, as I said, it's going to bring out the best in everybody, which is exactly what we need if we're to qualify.
You mentioned that Euro 2021 in England next year, and as you said, won't be the first international tournament this Irish team could qualify for. I guess you're at an advantage in that you're not like some of the elder players in the team, that this may or may not be one of their last opportunities to play at a major tournament for Ireland. And even speaking to Katie McCabe there, I mean, she would have been looking with mixed emotions to her Arsenal teammates playing in the World Cup, happy for them, but also wish she'd been there. How important is it for this Irish team and for yourself that this team gets to the Euros next summer?
Obviously the squad has players of all ages, which is what you need. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and you see there's been younger players coming through different squads, and nothing has changed. But in terms of how important it is for us to qualify, we do feel that this is the best opportunity that we've ever had to qualify, in terms of the squad that we have, in terms of the players that we have available, but also in terms of the draw that we got and the position that we've put ourselves in from the first 3 games. So obviously we're looking to build on that, and it is still in sight. So it's very important that the 2 massive games now over the next couple of of days. Obviously the first one being the Greece game. All we're looking for is 3 points, and we're looking to improve on the last Greece game for that. So in terms of that, because we're in such a good position that we've put ourselves in, and also the resources available to us, it's important that we build on that and we utilise that, and ultimately that is, we want to qualify for Euro 21.
Vera Pauw is about 6 months into her tenure so far as manager of the Irish team. How have you found her management so far?
Yeah, no, obviously each manager brings in different qualities, brings in different philosophies, and it's been great working with her so far. Obviously, being involved in the international team, she doesn't have too much contact hours with us. You think of the first camp she was involved in was the Ukraine camp, and obviously because there's players based all over Europe, and even you look at Denise in America and Julianne in Australia, it is difficult to get us in. So the only contact hours that we do have is when we are in camp preparing for a game. But in terms of the last couple of months, I've really enjoyed working under her, and I know the squad have as well, and we're hoping that she can get the best out of us, but also that we can get the best out of her. As a group, as a whole, everyone involved in this setup, we're all looking to learn from each other. We're all looking to put our best foot forward once we cross that white line on a match day, and that's exactly what we're looking to do on Thursday. Firstly, obviously, that's our main focus at the minute. Your next game is always your most important game, so we can only look at that at the minute, and once Thursday is over and done with, hopefully we'll have the 3 points and a good performance, and then we can look forward to next Wednesday for the Montenegro game then.
Just on Thursday, obviously I think the record for the women's game was against Ukraine at Tallaght Stadium, massive crowd for that one. I think there's still a small number of tickets on fai.ie/tickets for this Thursday night, 7:15 at Tallaght Stadium against Greece. How important is it that you get bums on seats? Obviously, ticket sales is one thing, and growing interest in the game, but having that atmosphere at a game like Tallaght Stadium under lights, for the team to have that many people at a crowd, and obviously the record attendances can only be a good thing.
Yeah, obviously for us as players and as a squad, we want to get as many people in the stadium as we can on match day. You've seen anyone that was there, or anyone that watched the game on TV, seen the atmosphere from the Ukraine game, and it was absolutely fantastic. Obviously throughout a game there's different stages. You're going well, you might be under a bit of pressure, but the fans literally get you through that, and hearing the crowds, hearing the kids, hearing everybody cheer, and obviously everybody in Ireland, everybody in that stadium wants the same thing, and that's for us to do well, and us to perform, and for us to get the 3 points, and nothing is going to change on Thursday. So obviously we're hoping that we can get as many people to Tallaght as possible. We want everybody cheering us on, and then hopefully in return then we can put on the performance that we know we can, and get the result that we know we can and that we need to get.
And finally, Rianna, I know it was I think a 6-month deal with Brighton originally. Is the hope then that that'll be extended beyond the summer, or what's the long-term ambition with the club?
Well, yeah, obviously I signed a 6-month contract, and it's about obviously finding my feet and seeing if I'm a good suit for the club, and seeing if the club is a good suit for me. So far I've been there 4 or 5 weeks, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Obviously I'm taking it day by day, kind of week by week, game by game, and that's all I can do. All I can do is try to give the best version of me, and obviously try and improve each day I'm there, each training session, each game, and that's all I can do, and that's what I'm looking at doing. Obviously they'll have their own thoughts, their own processes on what they're looking for, and we'll sit down again then once the season is finished and see where we are. But as I said, that's a bit away. As I said, I'm only 4 or 5 weeks into it, so I'm still finding my feet, still kind of getting used to obviously that step up into a full-time environment, but everything's going well so far. So hopefully I can just build on that, and we'll see where we are come the summer.
Rianna Jarrett, best of luck on Thursday and next Wednesday as well.